some coffee, refill before we get started. You're in for a great show. Thank you for coming out this Wednesday morning. Can we get another round of applause for yourself? So for all those who've been to 1 Million Cups, welcome back. For those who are new, anyone new in the room, raise of hands. All right. Wow. So if you didn't know, 1 Million Cups is a non-profit. It's a nationwide nonprofit started in 2012 by Ewing Kaufman over coffee. Two entrepreneurs got together and realized they had a lot more resources and connections and solutions to their business problems than they realized over coffee. So what started in Kansas City grew to 110 communities nationwide, and you are in the Chicago community right now. So we're about to hit our 1 year anniversary for this community next week. I think it's like 2 weeks here. So we're all volunteer based, and what you're about to see here is two presenters each week. They get 6 minutes to present where they're at in their business, right? This is full transparency, just laying it all out there. It's not a pitch. We're just presenting where we're at because we're all fellow entrepreneurs. After that presentation, you get 20 minutes of each presenter. You can answer questions, give feedback, and the presenters are going to present where they might need help or resources, and that's where you could raise your hand and answer any questions. So before we get started, we are a nonprofit. So if you could please scan this QR code to check in. This verifies how we get grant funding. So checking in aside from Luma on this QR code is very important to us. Give you all a sec to do that. Awesome. And there is a QR code by the coffee if you did miss this. And then here's some more QR codes. Instagram, LinkedIn, 1 Million Cups Chicago is a consistent tagline across those profiles that you can find. And then if you ever wanted to be a presenter, it's super easy to submit your application. At the least, a PowerPoint is basically what we ask for. And let's give a highlight and a round of applause to our beautiful state, Tech Nexus. So Tech Nexus is a co-working space. It's a very collaborative space. This is our home here at 1 Million Cups. So you get a 10% discount on memberships here, as well as on Wednesdays, you get to work here for free the whole day. So enjoy and hang on. And this is a space sponsor, coffee sponsor. I want to give another shout out to our wonderful coffee sponsor, U3. Hey. Little wave over there. So U3 keeps us caffeinated and delicious coffee. I probably drink too much, so if there's none in there, because of me. And then lastly, Shy IRL. If you're interested in any tech and startup events in the city, shyirl.com is a great resource run by the Chicago Tech Collaborative to get in tune with what's going on in the city. So I want to get started by giving a round of applause and a standing ovation to our first founder, Brad, with GiveStream. Woo! All right, Brad. And from here, you can just put it along there. Pretty simple.
The first standing ovation. So good morning, everybody. And I'm Brad Layard, and I'm the founder of GiveStream. And I'm very grateful and excited to be here with the 1 Million Cups Chicago community, because with this kind of room, I can get the honest feedback and shared experiences that I need to make my startup and my ideas great for all of us. I'm here to share what we're building and why it matters, and more importantly, to get your feedback. So at GiveStream, we're reimagining charitable giving. Very smooth, right? So charitable giving is a huge market, more than $500 billion in the US annually alone, but the experience is very fragmented. Donors bounce between multiple platforms, difficulty tracking their taxes or tax implications. And on the other side of it, nonprofits don't even have engagement strategies, not because they don't want to, but often they don't have the tools, the support, or time. And when they do have the tools, they find them very difficult to integrate, especially with systems like their CRM. And at the end of last year, I left my job with Deloitte. I've been with them for 7 years. And I was a product manager there in the global technology team, which is basically the team that supports all of the Deloitte offices around the world, helping them with their digital marketing, so websites, social media, event management. And I was reviewing all my contributions. I do a lot of online donating, and I was having a difficult time determining who I had given to, who I haven't yet, how much I wanted to, what the tax implications might be for me that year, as well as managing all my communication preferences. I was receiving a lot of mail from some charities. I didn't know, I didn't have notifications that I wanted from others because I wanted to know what's going on. I was overwhelmed. And that led me to an epiphany, which was GiveStream. So GiveStream is about reducing the friction for generosity. Nonprofits want to understand their donors, attain their supporters, engage them, and retain them. And individuals just want one place to go to manage all their charitable giving. So GiveStream provides one unified experience. We're using a freemium model plus additional revenue streams. And with that, one of the main things I really wanted to focus on was making sure that donors and nonprofits could use the platform for free. I didn't want to necessarily charge people to give, but I also wanted to make sure I could support the business model and it would be sustainable. So the way I approached this was providing donor premium functionality, such as portfolio tools, tax optimization capabilities, impact tracking, and application integration. So for example, for donors integrating with your tax software or mint.com. And for nonprofits, providing free onboarding in addition to a great platform, but advanced analytics, advanced CRM integration, and the ability to apply to foundations, find and apply to foundations easily. And longer term, we would be targeting corporate giving portals, as well as even beyond that, looking for international expansion. Some of the additional revenue streams that we would have would be the referral fees from payment processors that we receive, promotional placements for nonprofits, and donor tips is another aspect of revenue. So where we are today is we've built a functional MVP that you can access at GiveStream.io. It's still prototype, but it is very functional, and you can experience what the donor side is and what the organizational side is as well. We've talked to several donors and nonprofits, and we've engaged with nonprofits online as well through multiple polls, and we've validated the concept that there's a need for it. But we're still requiring feedback from additional nonprofits to validate both the business model to make sure that the pricing meets the realities of both for donors and for nonprofits. We're gaining the trust of nonprofits, and we're looking for additional feedback. So I jumped ahead to my current challenges, but yeah, so that's we're still validating that model. We'd like to understand what the operational pain points are for nonprofits, and just building that trust amongst them. So the ways that, first of all, thank you for being here today. The ways that I could really use some help is really for you to log on to the site and give me your feedback. What features and functionality work for you? Does the interface seem intuitive? Any ideas you might have about pricing? So test and share. Your feedback would be the first ask that I would have for the community. And then secondly, if you're involved in a nonprofit or you have connections to a nonprofit, we'd love to connect with team members from revenue operations, finance, donor development, and their marketing teams. We're not looking to sell them anything. We're looking just to validate the model and get their feedback. Lastly, we invite you to build with us and join our team as we get closer to our pre-seed funding. We're looking for engineers, so front end, back end developers, as well as architects, marketing experts. We're looking for partnership leads to reach out to the nonprofits, as well as people in the legal field. So anyway, so thank you very much for your time and generosity, for your attention. And GiveStream is about making generosity easier for everyone. If we can do that well, we can unlock a tremendous amount of impact in the world. And I thank you for helping us shape that. Woo!
I love the tagline. That would be, that's the truth right there. A little bit more of that. So there was a couple components in there, kind of a B2C and B2B model.
Yeah.
Can you talk about, where that is and how each one has responded so far?
So from the donor side, we found that there's a lot of donors that would be from more affluent donors are looking for ways to optimize their taxes. And I know for me personally, just having the ability to consolidate all my giving in one place is a really big help. But I think a lot of the donors that would do that would probably use more of the free model functionality. But we're looking at functionality that we've gotten really positive feedback around what's called donor advised funds. And this is something new that's starting in 2021. And it's a way, let's say you have some stock in Microsoft, you have $1,000 and it goes up $500. It's a way to take the $500 and put it into this donor advised fund. You take no capital gain, and then you can make donations or grants to different charities and nonprofits at your own time and get the tax break at that time. And we've gotten a really strong positive feedback from that capability of integrating with us today. Companies like Vanguard, Fidelity support these funds, as well as there's some National Philanthropic Trust is another organization. So we're looking to partner with some of these organizations and integrate with them, and that's been a very positive feedback. But you're correct, it's two models. And on the organizational side, one of the nonprofits we spoke to said, if you can just tell us more about our own donors, we would be willing to pay for that. Mm-hmm. And donors pay several $1,000s a year for tools to help them with understanding the analytics and demographics of their donors. And so I came from a data privacy background. And so what I'm looking to do here is provide aggregated demographics to help them target their donors without providing all the personal details about what their donors are doing, but just by monitoring all the activity that's going on, where people are giving, what their income levels and things like that might be. So those types of metrics that are really important. They also I did some polling on LinkedIn and found that one of the biggest problems that these donors have a lot of tools, but they don't have the time or ability to integrate them with their existing systems. So providing like a very frictionless way to integrate with those CRMs and provide feedback loops. That's another thing that they said that they would be willing to pay for. But the pricing is the thing that I'm trying to figure out right now. So that's why I'm trying to get in front of more donors and understand that.
Really. Any other questions? Sure. Yeah.
So I think we've spoken before, but so I'm a board member for a nonprofit. It may not necessarily be your target customer because we receive a minority of our funds from direct donations.
Yeah.
But at least from the realm of
Agency.
economy, yeah. Yeah. So at least from the realm of donations that we do receive, kind of as you spoke about, you're tending to look at more affluent donors, so I guess have a lot of these tools, etc. At least on our end, a lot of our donations come from kind of that upper middle class, not necessarily to the realm where they can start doing like full on tax advantage work and like have all of these tools being brought to them, etc. But at least for us, we see a lot of our donations come from the more complex situation of like corporate matching, right? Where you'll have an employee at a corporation, for example, and one of the benefits that they have is that the corporate, if they donate to certain nonprofits, the corporation will match them to a certain extent, right? And that tends to, I guess, to be a little bit more complex to manage as a whole. We have a relationship with most of our donors in that sense, but as we scale and grow, and I guess this would be the key part of the platform, is like scaling these types of relationships. I guess the question is this something like these kind of, are you looking towards more of the donors who have a lot of tools and let's say you're looking like unify those tools? I guess that was a little less clear than I would necessarily get. Or are you looking for the donors who to add need to like scale this type of relationship, reach more donors, or what's kind of the who's target customer here for the tooling?
Yeah. So for in general, the donors we're reaching out to are millennials tend to give a lot of donations online. So high number of small donations.
Yes, yeah.
And Gen X people tend to donate higher amounts and are in the position where they have to care more about their taxes.
Yes.
So those are sort of the two main areas of demographics from the donor side. From the nonprofit side, what we're seeing is really small to medium sized nonprofits. What we'd like to do is initially get some anchored larger nonprofits on board and offer them like free services for life
Exactly.
for a while, just so to obtain those anchor nonprofits and then focus on acquiring more smaller and middle-sized nonprofits who don't really have a lot of technology at their disposal, but they have some tools and for example, one of the things we can offer is like a white labeling website for them. So it looks just like their site, but it's fully integrated. And as far as the corporate matching, we do plan to offer that fairly short, soon out of the gate. It's going to be sort of a mechanical Turk kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Where we do a manual effort on behind the scenes, and then so when somebody puts in their business email address or their employer, we can determine which organizations provide employer matching for them, and we flag it on their searches so they can see exactly who their employer matches are, and then we'll manage all the matching for them. Longer term, we'd like to integrate directly to a corporate portal where a company would just bring on sort of a white label of the entire system on board, and employees, anything that they see has corporate matching on it, so the employee can manage this personally and do that.
100%.
Great question. Any resources or introductions for Brad in terms of the questions? Yep, you got something back there.
Yeah, hi, I'm Catherine. I can help with a couple. I run fundraising for a pre-K to PTO for CPS school, so I can do some testing for you if you want to back from that start to introduce you to someone that can do some micro testing.
Is that which organization?
I'm with the CPS PTO. So
CPS.
yeah, I run fundraising for that. I can introduce you to someone that can do higher ed, and then I also do go to market, consulting and marketing leadership, so I.
That- I'll be honest with you. What was your name?
Kat.
Kathy.
Yeah, my name's Steve. I have an association with the Marco Island Center for the Arts. And their donor base is very complex. And I can definitely introduce you to them. And me personally, I would help out with testing and stuff like that.
That'd be great. Yeah, I love feedback and I love negative feedback.
Sorry.
Tells me.
Don't worry about this, I can feedback. One last question, resource, anyone? Josh, yeah.
Yeah, you said it's free to donors and to nonprofits, and that's totally free. If you notice, like certain sites like Give Butter will have like, oh, it's free to donate, but then they'll have like something baked into it that you have to uncheck. Does the interface have anything like that that seems tricky? Because I know a couple of nonprofits use like Give Butter or some of those types of services that have that hidden fee, and unbeknownst to the donors, they end up spending more than they anticipate. It's like a flat fee, but it's reduced from the actual amount that goes to the
Right.
organization.
That's actually the original business model we looked at, and it just didn't work out with the numbers. It was just too difficult to fund ourselves off of small little fractional processing fees. But our intent is not to add any additional processing fee onto the donor, no hidden fees. One way that we do that is simply integrating with the existing payment processor that the nonprofit already has. So there's three ways that you can integrate. One is you can just directly integrate with your existing payment processor. So there's whatever the charity charges, that's what you pay. We're looking at maybe doing our own processing of the donations and then dispersing it to the nonprofit. And in that sense, the processing, you can cover the processing fees, but it wouldn't be any more than you would pay going directly. And then the third integration is the simplest, which we just direct you to that person's website. And we just keep a record that we did that, but we do have ways for still managing the receipt and tracking that. I don't know if you've all used like TripIt Planner, where you can like forward the email to TripIt and it puts like your car rental and your airline. So we're looking to incorporate that feature. So if you already have a bunch of manual receipts, you can just forward them to a special to receipts at GiveStream, and as long as you register your email address, it will record that. So you
wow.
can still keep track of all of your receipts and everything.
I know several nonprofits who might be interested if it's truly free. So yeah.
All right, let's give a round of applause for that. Alrighty, also great questions, great resources. I love it. Let's keep the show going with Bella and Joyce with no standing ovation. So yeah, it's Google Slides. Later on, you're saying? Oh, this one? Yeah. Alright.
Appreciate that.
Just to get the video, right? So download video. PowerPoint. Ooh, I don't have my phone. That's fine. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Or is there a separate site you want to pull up that video?
Just to building, yeah. Like
That's awesome. All right, let's try it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Bella Zhang, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Note.
And my name is Joyce, I'm the co-founder and CTO of them.
Yeah, so growing up, I came from a culture that prioritized sons over daughters. So I've always thought thinking of it's hard to hear back here. Oh, I will try to so it was always a bit more of a process for me to understand why being a woman or being more feminine had its benefits. And this was definitely a multi-year long journey. and I realized that I really wasn't alone in this process of trying to understand what it is to be female. This is Julie. Hormones hijack her energy and mood every month, leaving her blindsided and frustrated of trying to understand why she feels so energetic one week and then suddenly can't do the same tasks a week right after. And there's so much information out there about her hormonal cycle, but it's really difficult to figure out how to actually make it work for her. Similar to Julie, like me, and many of the other women that have recently been trying to spend more time to understand this, this is the reason why the hormonal cycle is so much more difficult to understand. Across the top, you see the woman's hormonal cycle that fluctuates every month across the board, and then the bottom is the male's hormonal cycle that changes on a daily basis. We realize that what this causes is a large discrepancy in trying to find understanding amongst other women, and it builds a lot of ability for communication and community as well. So that's why we built Node. We affectionately call it the Strava for your menstrual cycle for two reasons. The first is that current period trackers don't give you very good analytics or ability to understand your own uncovered patterns. The second reason is that there's a community aspect here. So similarly to how Strava really made running a community-based and popular industry, we want to do the same thing for understanding your menstrual cycles, whether that's adding your close friends or bringing your partner, so husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, along on the journey, so everybody is better able to understand more. Okay, this video may not work, but let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. So this is a quick demo of our app. This is our hormonal homepage where you can see your specific patterns and your hormonal flow. And then you can also add your close friends. Again, he's not supposed to add anybody on the internet. You can add just the people that you kind of want to, have a better connection with. This is highly requested, but we built the partner portal as well, so you can add your partner and they can understand and essentially have a bit of a prediction. And then these are the insights and calendars as well as rituals that are all backed by our science team. So every single ritual has been reviewed in detail. And it allows you to build better habits. And then finally, if you have detailed questions, you can also ask your hormonal coach, and that will allow you to get other answers there. I'll pass it to Joyce for traction.
Okay, so we built our MVP in under 30 days, and after we launched our waitlist, we got 500 plus signups organically. And actually, as of right now, 50% of them have already converted to our monthly active user. And we're also so active on social media. In 3 months, we're seeing a lot of really good traffic organically as well. We launched our Discord community and have onboarded our medical experts to help answer user questions, keep them engaged. We're launching a B2B partnership as well. We have one enterprise partner in pipeline. And finally, we want to present ourselves, our brand, to be a community for women's health. So we're thinking about launching a women's health marketplace. And we're doing a spring showcase for women's health related products out in Chicago, where we currently go to MBAs.
Yeah, and then one quick thing that we'll also add, we've also been testing out doing workouts or fun events in accordance to your cycle. So that's being super well received, and it's a great way to really make us stand out opposed to other like period trackers, because this is really personalizing the experience and then also showing you like why there's a benefit to understanding where you are in your cycle and how to connect with your friends. So that's been separately just very fun for us and also proves a lot of continuous engagement and traction.
Yeah. And then we couldn't have done this without such an amazing team. So Bella, ex-consultant at Accenture, and I was an engineer at Amazon Snapchat, and work really close with Sabrina, our product designer. And we also have like these amazing supporting teams. And this is our set of incredible science advisors who onboarded with us. We have like MDs in neuroscience, physical therapy, registered dietitian. All of these team members help us build the app and really brings it together. And finally, our ask for the 1 million cup community first is we're asking for mentors who are experts in the mobile app space, digital healthcare space, and working out go-to-market strategy for monetization. And second is our monetization. So we want advice on business model development as we're thinking about our freemium partnerships, enterprise, and community development. And finally, building out our social media strategy. We have been exploring to getting in front of the camera ourselves and creating content, but we would just appreciate more guidance there. And thank you.
I'll start off with a very simple question. What brought you to the name Gnome?
Yeah, it's a great idea. So there's this concept of being known, and it's actually something that we've been learning in one of our classes because we're getting our PAs, but it's this art of like vulnerability and self-disclosure. It's almost like when you share a little bit more about yourself, you are inviting the person that you're interacting with to also share and get closer in that way. And there's this beauty of revealing aspects of yourself that allow better connection. And that's why we think known is such a great way to express that. And to share that, you know, typically menstrual cycles are a bit more taboo, right? Even in today's society. And it deserves to be known. Like women deserve to spend this time to learn about their menstrual cycle. So
Any other questions? Yeah.
Just one note on the name. I Googled known menstrual tracker, and that's like a really hard sort of searchability thing because I'm getting, oh, the best known menstrual trackers are blank, 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 and blank, blank.
yeah.
And then I have just some questions about like privacy policy. Like there's a lot of stuff right now about, you know, not sharing your, you know, menstrual cycle type stuff because of the legislative environment that we currently live in and all of that kind of thing. And how are you dealing with that? How are you like advising around or like what's going on in the app that like if I'm sharing this with everybody and then like that, like what do you think about that?
Yeah, I can answer the first part of your question, then I'll have Joyce address the data privacy aspects. But what's happening right now is some of our competitors like Flow are still in like lawsuits because they have been sued in previous years for selling user information unknowingly. At the same time, I don't want that to be the reason why women are scared to track their cycle. I still think this is really important information that all of us deserve to know because it genuinely helps improve the way we live our lives. So I don't want the takeaway of like the fear around legality to be the reason why we as women are not taking more strides in like understanding our own health. And there are ways to like continue to allow for data privacy while still building something very intentional. But you want to talk about the data privacy?
Yeah, so currently, when we onboarded the app to our beta users and when we're launching our app store, which is it's been a week because it got approved. We have not, so we have explicitly said that we're not tracking your identity or selling your information to third-party apps because there's very clear rules on Apple App Store that you have to disclose that if you are doing so, otherwise it can get really messy. So we're absolutely not engaging any of that activities right now or in the future. And we're also thinking about bringing it to another layer by implementing zero knowledge base. So that is an encryption method that basically ensures that your data only sits private to yourself. And then about that community sharing aspect, of course, you're not sharing your cycle information with everyone in the world. It's only a very trusted circle, like your partner and very close friends. So that's up to your own discretion who you want to share it with.
And those that are more comfortable with sharing, you can, but if you don't want to, the app is perfectly usable just for your own data tracking purposes as well.
So are you entering the data or like as is the user entering the data? And if you wouldn't mind, can you go back to the slide with the graph of the levels? Yeah. So is this individualized?
So this is not yet individualized. We definitely want to consider future partnerships because there are a couple of continuous hormone monitoring systems that are coming onto market. So it would be a great way to get involved, but it's more about like your own personal daily symptom tracker. There are also ways that you can do a combination of like automatic and manual inputs. So we're going to improve the amount of automatic inputs that can come from like your Apple Watch or your Oura Ring, etc. Anything that flows into Apple Health. But then for things like reporting your daily food, that's your personal discretion. So I'm going to report.
So I guess what I'm trying to understand is, okay, if I'm on, day 4 days in, you're gonna get whatever the average day 4 hormonal levels are.
Yeah, so it follows along on the map as the genetics reference.
Isn't the point is that there are individual fluctuations?
Yeah, I'm gonna answer that question. So we're not gonna tell you about your exact hormonal levels in a very scientific. We're gonna tell you patterns like, for example, generally on your day 4 or 5 of your luteal phase, you will have like light headaches or stuff like that. So that's the kind of pattern we're trying to unveil for you. It's not like to the specific hormonal levels.
It's more about like what to do with that information, like where you already started.
Okay, thank you.
So when you're saying inputting data, I know you have a nutritionist in there. Are they kind of, inputting their diet and stuff like that? Because I know diet maybe affect hormones and stuff.
Yes.
Is that something that they do manually as well, or how does that work?
That is actually a good point. I don't think we currently have like very detailed things for you to log your meals, but I think that's a really good point. But we do have, so why we brought up that registered dietitian on board is because we're building out this database of recommendations for what to do on different phases of your cycle. And she helped us build out that recommendations.
Yeah, so right now users in their luteal or follicular are getting recommendations on certain foods that can help them balance their hormones, and that's all validated by the dietitian.
I have a quick question for everyone here, since we haven't talked about social media as much. Within your workflow of social media, how do you handle like time editing and then content planning? And what response have you gotten within this space, which is such a niche space?
Yeah. It's funny because it's not niche. What you can stand listen to.
God.
Anything related to like female friendships or like a community building or like getting mad at your partner when you're like the week before your period, like all of that is like so relatable as men and women. So there's like unlimited amount of content that we can build essentially. You should see our content now.
Within your content, how do you like, is it struggle to like, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, the weekly theme is like, I don't have enough time, I don't know how to edit.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys handle that? Do you outsource it?
Yeah. So right now, us two are doing it along with Rena, so it's definitely a lot, but we've gotten it down to like a pretty consistent schedule. It's about like 3 times a week, and that we've like pre-planned for like the month ahead. So we have an idea, but there's always so many new ideas coming out and so many different like memes or reels or educational content that you can build. So we're trying to identify a better way to take in all the information.
So
I love this. I have 2 apps that I have to track my cycle because it's messy. Because a lot of us that have PCOS, especially, like I think it's a great market for you to be able to tap into like our OBGYNs have those partnerships, maybe do some research on just known things that are difficult for women.
Yeah.
And I would be all about the marketplace. I would be interested to know like how can I control my levels? How can I control like fertility, all of that stuff. And having maybe the link in there that I can just buy and click and be shipped to my home. Awesome. So we're doing this great. I think I like what you said, that is the Strava. I think the exercise part is also very important to include. Even having like workout videos, things like that, partnering with people that are doing gym stuff, like independent like gym goers and people that are trying to. You have different business models you can include and incorporate, like marketplace and then personal training, things like that. Like I think that would go a long way too.
right on. Alrighty, one more question.
So I really like the idea. Thinking from a user standpoint, here we like the user has to have some kind of manual logging, right? So that there is an inherent friction in such platforms where you have some kind of manual logging, which you might automate later on. But thinking more from what are the incentives for the user to log in manually? First question. Second, currently women might be tracking their menstrual cycles in other platforms. How are you like pulling users from other platforms to this platform?
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about a lot of our competitors is they have positioned themselves as just being period trackers. And when I say that, I mean that, for example, if I'm using Clue, I only go to Clue like once a month to input my period and I'm out. Like I don't stay for anything else. Just the intention behind this is to try and show you that you are consistently impacted by your hormones, not just the couple of days that you're on your period. So we want this to be more of like a daily activity, whether it's refreshing your rituals that are giving you representations, interacting with your friends' bubbles more consistently, and then also finding like events in your area that you can attend for like the social aspect. So yes, there's going to be some initial friction on how the user comes back on a daily basis, but we are really intended to create
Like on the second part, like I was inclining more towards how would you, because a lot of users would be inputting their like things on other platforms, right?
Yeah.
So there is a cold start problem here as well. Like we don't have any like users data on this platform. So is there a way to like import?
Oh yeah.
We'll save that question for some conversation after.
Yeah.
That's exactly the kind of question we want to hear here. So let's give a round of applause. Ready, before we wrap up here, I want to give it a chance for everyone to share what events are coming up. So does anyone have any events coming up this weekend to next week? Or just raise your hand and announce it if so. Startup weekends that are here.
Startup weekend starting on Friday, but it goes through Sunday pitch competition. On Sunday afternoon, you can see me, I don't know, it's Connor here. That's probably also have a link for tickets. There's also Temp Walk on Sunday morning in Union Park, which is right across from where Chicago Startup Weekend is currently.
Right on.
So the participants though are close, right? It's just attending
It's just attending the pitch competition on Sunday.
Does everyone know what Startup Weekend is?
No.
No.
No, let's get.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so Startup Weekend is in 72 hours, basically over the weekend, teams get together and you go up with a startup and then they do a presentation and you're awarded, you know, whoever, there's like a winning team on Sunday. So it's literally like you meet your team Friday and you have a startup on Sunday. Really, really high intense. It's a great way to meet other folks that are interested in startup content. I actually have one of my founders at the startup weekend in Omaha. So this isn't a new thing. It's kind of similar to one FC where they're starting to get all. This one is Tech Start.
Yep, it is Tech Start.
This one's Tech Starts, which is, you know, next to like YC, probably one of the top 3 incubator accelerator programs in the country, if not the world. So this would be a really great opportunity if anyone's actually interested in jumping in, being an operator, meeting folks, at least attend on Sunday so you can see the pitches and the types of companies that are coming out of the space. Definitely recommend it. A huge support. So.
If you're going to be at Startup Weekend, Martina will be there.
I'll check, babe.
Psycho will be there.
I might.
Alrighty, and if you are a business under 5 years old or know a business under 5 years old and want to present at 1FC, you do get these really cool takeaway mugs. So it's super easy. Myself, Keith, and a couple other volunteers in the room. We could, you know, happy to help you walk through the presentation process. But in the meantime, this is 1MC. I'm your host, Dan Hernandez, for today. Feel free to welcome, you know, work here if you'd like, hang out, we're gonna network. Everyone has to be out of this room by 11:30, I was told. So there's another event coming up. But thank you for coming out, and I'll ask the presenters and volunteers to come up and take a picture. Alrighty, have fun, y'all. Hey, what's up?